Well, you might think you're looking just at a stone beach in Connemara, but in fact, if we look closer at what lies underneath this stone beach, we'll see a great layer of what looks like peat, and sticking up through it, these most remarkable tree trunks, showing that at the stage in the past, this was actually a forest. Now, we've dated some of these trees recently, and we found that they extend, this one here, for example, from about 7,500 years ago right down to about 5,000 years. And we have evidence of these all the way along the north shore of Galway Bay and into Mayo and down into Clare. So it was an extensive forest ecosystem which lasted for over 2,000 years. So it was a major system on the western periphery of Europe. Very extensive, and because of sea levels at the time, it extended way out into Galway Bay as well. And it was, because of that, a very fertile ground for hunting and fishing by the people who lived here. And they would, of course, according to the dates of the trees, have been hunters, gatherers, no farming yet. So, fortuitously, because of the storms of winter 2013, a lot of this forest floor has been exposed by these storms. Here, for example, we've got almost a quarter of a kilometre of the floor exposed, together with the tree trunks pushing up out of it. So it was a lucky break, really, if you like, for archaeologists and geologists that these storms came along as they did in 2013, because in a few months this will all be covered again by the sands of the summer tides, and we won't see it maybe for another 50 years. 10,000 years ago, there was no seawater here at all. It was, in the whole bay, it was a river system, possibly with deltas, certainly forested, shrubs, swamp, lagoon type system. So you could walk really from here to Clare, if you could ford the river, you know. So after that, since sea levels were rising all the time, it gradually flooded over the next 10,000 years. It flooded quite quickly for the first 5 of those. If you look at the sea level curve, it's like that, much sharper than today. When it gets to about 5,000, it kind of peters off and the sea level rise slows down. But it's too late to save the forest. The forest is already flooded and gone. And you can tell it was quite a sudden event, because when you look at the root system here, it's still in place. The trees haven't toppled over. They haven't got old and toppled over. They've been killed quite quickly. So the incursion of salt water into this environment would poison the trees almost instantaneously, certainly in a period of a decade anyway. So it was a rapid end to a huge ecosystem. What we can see at the top level of the peat, and it's important it is the top level because it's the ending of the peat, we find these thin beds of fossilized reeds called phragmites. Now the thing about these reeds is that they can survive in brackish water as well as in fresh water. So we can see there on that level, that reed bed, the final death of the forest, where the forest is replaced by reed beds growing in brackish estuarine conditions as sea level rises. So by then, the trees would have been dead anyway, you know. We know that there were certainly humans inhabiting this ecosystem, because a couple of years ago, Reno Cara found a log boat buried in the turf. And on Wednesday, we were shown a piece of a trackway, a built trackway embedded in the turf as well. So humans were certainly living here. Obviously, they were hunting. So because of the sort of estuarine conditions, fish would have been important, wild birds important, and they would have had wolves and bears and red deer living in this forested area as well.